guys, just come to Steve Cyril's, which is Bike Tyres Leeds on the internet, on eBay, Bike Tyres Leeds. It's in Skulls, I think, LS15 in Leeds, obviously. Absolutely cracking place, really lovely people, very helpful, very nice. And went to get some quotes on some new tyres. So I'm going to go somewhere now. We're going to show you sort of the ins and outs of basic to advanced riding techniques which I use, techniques which you could use, very good techniques. A lot of people have asked me sort of what's it like. People on smaller bikes usually ask, like, or people that haven't rode a bike usually ask what's it like on a big bike. Oh, it'd be scary and all that, and you know, would I be able to handle it, or you know, what if this and what if that. So what I'm going to do for you, I'm going to show you all techniques and stuff, a few little tips and tricks and a few little how-tos, and we'll go from there really, because then you can pick up things, you can learn new things, you can practice it, and you can hopefully boost your confidence, because it's fairly easy riding a big bike. You just need to know ins and outs really. I mean, if you ride a small bike, you can ride a big bike. If you ride a big bike, you can ride a small bike. Any bikes, bike to bikes, geared bikes. You can ride gears, you can ride any bike. Please drive carefully in our little shitty village. So I'm going to go down here now, and I'll show you some of the techniques. So we'll start off with the basics, and we'll move on to more advanced. We'll start off with basics, and we'll move on to more advanced riding technique. And then from there, you know, I'll show you what happens with what, and what does what, and how you control it, and all that general jibber jabber. And then you can learn from that, and you can take it home, take it to the park with you. Also depends on what bike you're riding and what style of bike you're riding. These tips will be for what I'm on, a 600cc sports or sports tourer inline 4. Most will be the same, most. A lot can be quite different. You get a V-twin for instance, is going to be a hell of a lot different. So this is inline 4 600cc how-to, basically. So the first thing that people worry about with bigger bikes is the power. So what we'll do is we'll show you how to manage the power, the manageability, generally using it and managing it. We'll go into this road here because it's a national speed limit road. So here's your basic techniques, right? What we'll do, we'll pull up here. Right, so you've got your clutch, your throttle, front brake, rear brake. You never want to use your front brake when you're going any less than 10 mile an hour, it's back brake only. Ideally you only want to use that, your back brake, when you're stopped or under 5 mile an hour or in corners, but that's more advanced. Never use your front in a corner, never, ever, 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 because what it'll do is, it'll stand you up and then you're screwed. You're just going to go forward. So what you want to do is, with a bigger bike, you want to find your biting point. You lay the engine change pitch. You'll feel it grab and pull. People worry about the power because they think it's going to take them, it's going to throw them. It'll only throw you if you get your biting point and then lose it, basically. And even then it'll just stall, like that. So basically you want to get your biting point. You want to slowly apply revs and it'll slowly take you off. Then you can do this. If you're on your biting point, you can do this and it's not going to do anything, as opposed to if you're not, it does that. And that's what people worry about. They worry about the twitchiness of the throttle. Look. So if you're there doing that with your clutch all the way out, it's going to throw you, and then what will happen is you'll go panic, fall back, and it'll throw you up into top end at revs. And because you're pulling back, it's pulling the throttle back even more, it's going to throw you backwards. And that's terrifying, basically, if you've never done it before. So if you've got your biting point in, you can basically apply as much throttle as you want, and you're not going to go any faster than what you're already going. Biting point, much throttle as you want, without, that's what you're going to do basically. So, you know, use your clutch a lot. You can also do the same with your back brake. It's not going to throw you as much. If you've got your biting point and your back brake, you're absolutely cracking, look. So I mean, that's your basic clutch control, brake control sort of stuff. As far as sort of clutch control and brake control goes, that's all you need. If you've got, once you've got that down, that you can sort of know how much throttle you need without going too quick, you can have your throttle out and you can steady it. Just hold it on a little bit more, a little bit less, a little bit more, a little bit less, and then you're going up your gears and you want to slowly release your clutch, unless you're going into more advanced riding, which you won't use your clutch, which we'll talk about again. Next step is stopping. People worry about the brakes. If you hit the back brake with your clutch in, you're going to slide. So what you need to do is you need to apply liberal amounts of front brake. That's going to slow you down quite a lot. Front brake. If you need to emergency stop, never ever pull your clutch in. If you need to stop quickly, don't clutch. Because if you clutch, you're going to lock up. You're not going to get all of your stopping ability. That's a bad idea. So you want to be sort of front brake, rear, clutch, stopped. Done. Very, very easy. You can stop on a penny. Next step, if you want to just slow down, release. You basically don't need to use your brake. If you can judge a gap, you don't need to use your brake. Slight amount of back, clutch in, you've stopped. You never really need to use it if you're just slowing down. Next option is engine braking. No brakes. That's going to slow you down a lot, but the problem is if you're at a high rev range and you go down into another gear, that's going to lock your back wheel up. It's not something you want to do, because it's scary. If you can handle that lock up, it's not an issue. If you can't and you're a new rider, it is. So there's your stopping, there's your going. There's your clutch control and your rear brake control. Next step, braking in corners. If I'm coming up to this corner and I lean and hit my front brake, it throws you up. That's what you do. You don't want to do that, ever. That's a bad idea. So you want to use your back brake, it pulls you in. Back brake. That's a lot more advanced, so if I'm doing that, it's going to pull me into the corner. That's basically only if you need to keep tight in a corner, you're going a bit too fast for a corner, literally feather it and it'll pull you in. That's advanced riding. You don't want to be trying that straight away until you know your machine. Next step, counter steering. A lot of people don't know about counter steering. A lot of people think it's some dodgy myth and they're like, oh, I'm not trying that, I'm not turning the other way if I'm going that way. It works, trust me. Basically, you want to turn your bars that way and it turns you that way. That way, it turns you that way. I'll show you that on this straight here. Watch my hand as I'll push my hand forward, it turns me that way and that way and that way and that way. So when you're in a tight bend and you need to get around it quickly, push down, pull with that one, pulls you straight around the bend, straight around without any problems whatsoever. If you're trying to turn like that, it's going to pull you back up, so that's your issue with that. A lot of people do not know about counter steering. A lot of people don't know about a lot of things. I sort of just assumed that everyone knew because I knew, but that's not the case. So I mean, hopefully you'll get sort of some information that you need from that, and you can take it to the bank. Oh yeah, clutchless shifts. Clutchless shifts are more advanced riding. Again, it's for when you want to be pinning it like that. That went up 4 gears without clutching, and it basically applies all the power, because if you are clutching, you're gonna lose a lot of your revs in your clutch. Basically, that's the easiest way of describing it. But if you're clutchless, you're going to use all them revs and they're all going to the back wheel. But when you're clutchless shifting, you usually have to, very nice, you usually have to let go of the throttle. It's sort of like a quick shifting, self-quick shifter. So it's like throttle off, throttle on, basically, and it's dead easy. Downshifting, clutchless downshifting, I don't do, but you can do, but it's very aggressive. It will throw you forward pretty hard because of the engine brake. Always keep your foot on the brake when you've stopped. That way if you get bumped, it's not going to send you flying forward. You might accidentally drop the clutch, but if you've got your foot on your back brake, it'll just stall. But if you aren't, it's going to fling you forward. Stuff like that. I mean, you pick it all up with general riding. They tell you never to put your right foot down. Always put your left foot down, so you can apply the brake and you're not feet in traffic. Generally, you can do as much or as little as you want. You can travel at 3 miles an hour on a 1000cc bike. You can travel fully clutch out 5 miles an hour, so long as you keep a steady hand on that throttle. You're not going to go too quick. If you need to, again, you know, if it gives you more confidence, just keep your biting point, and then you can twitch as much as you want. It's not going to fling you. So again, I'll show you the technique of the throttle to clutch ratio. The setting off. Half clutch. As much throttle as you want. If you do too much or too little, it's not going to fling you. And then we'll do clutchless upshifts. And we'll do clutchless downshifts. As I said, it's very aggressive, it flings you forward because of the engine braking. But if you get in the right rev range, it won't. But that's what you need to learn. You need to learn your bike's rev ranges, you need to learn the weight of your bike, how much it'll turn without getting upset with itself. Shit like that, basically. Once you've learnt all that, once you've learnt your clutch, your rear brake, you move on to your counter steering and your rear brake counter steering, which will tuck you in a corner tyre. And then you can move on to basically anything you want. And yeah, I mean, I hope it's helped, and I hope I've been clear enough with how it all sort of works. And I hope I've put people's minds at rest, because people instantly assume they're going to get on a big bike and do that, and it's going to fling them straight off and they're going to die or whatever, and they get worried. But you're not, you know what I mean? It only goes as fast as you make it go. If you make it go silly, it'll go silly. If you take it easy, oh dear. Oh, hello. She was rolling backwards. Anyway, I don't know what she was. I think she fell asleep, if I'm honest. But basically, you just don't panic, because if you panic, you're not thinking straight. Stuff gets messy. If you keep a straight head on, just watch what you're doing, be careful, you'll be alright. But don't panic when you do that and it flings you back a bit. Just hold yourself. People worry about the higher speed sort of stuff. The bike is basically only going to do exactly what a 125 or a 50cc bike could do. It's a lot quicker. You can set off slow. You can change up a gear, smooth. Change up a gear, smooth. change up a gear, keep going all the way up your gears, and then you've got a lot less twitch because you're up your gears. It's a lot easier. Stuff like that happens, people panic as well. Why panic? People panic and they start going mad. They start going, oh, you fucking dickhead, oh, what are you doing? Well, no, don't, you know what I mean? Chill out. Find a gap, sit in a gap, wait. Be patient. As far as emergency stops and emergency swerves, you should never need to do it. Ever. I've only done it once in my entire riding. I think it's been 2.5 years. And the only reason I did do it was because there was shit all else I could do. I locked up and I hit a car because it swung in front of me. You can see it coming from a mile off. You can adjust your riding accordingly, you can slow down, you can stop. Look at people in the cars, not the cars, and then, you know, you learn that as well, so you learn a lot. Be smart. Common sense.